War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Perry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Yes! The icon of combat sports! The Rowdy One is back! The baddest woman on the planet is back! Are you kidding me? The only woman to hold WWE and UFC gold and look at the field, they can't believe it either! Ronda Rousey is in the Royal Rumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the War Report podcast brought to you by TagMeADate.com. Hi, Tara. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tara.
Welcome, everybody, to the post-Royal Rumble show, one of my most favorite shows of the year. And we will definitely get to whether or not it lived up to the expectation that it should have, being one of the big four. I know that there will be some differences of opinions and yet agreements all at the same time. So it's going to be a very interesting show. It looks like everyone's finally jumping on. Vinny, Mac, Ryan, what's going on, guys? Welcome. And how is everyone doing?
Much better now that I'm here.
Well, that's what I like to hear. We do have a shitload to cover.
Well, let's hop right into it, man.
So I was just going to say we really should just go right into it. And, of course, there's nothing really to talk about outside to start anyway, because we'll have to get to Raw too. But we're going to have to start off with the Rumble. And so I'm having a tough time.
Took a big fall, like somebody took a big old bump.
Yeah.
Well, we can start if you want to start. I mean, I would say the best thing to start off with is how amazing was that first match to kick off. You start off with our reigning, defending, undisputed, universal heavyweight champion, our tribal chief, our head of the table. The reason we are all here today, 519 days and counting, Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. I mean,
I have to say, number one, I was shocked that Brock Lesnar opened the show.
Brock?
I mean, not Brock. Rollins Reigns.
Yeah.
And then not only to open with that match, to have Seth freaking Rollins come out as the Shield member with the, so right. So we're gonna get into we're gonna break down match for match, and we're obviously gonna start with that one. I just want to say this, and I've had a lot of time to think about this since it was on fucking Saturday.
That's another problem with Saturday reviews. It gives you an extra day to be mad about it.
Well, yes and no. Well, yes, but so all right. In my opinion, from a Royal Rumble standpoint, meaning the men's Royal Rumble match and the women's Royal Rumble match, I feel like this was one of the worst Rumbles in a very long time. I want to say I think the women's had a slight edge over the men's. And I think that was more so just because at least there were some more surprises than the men's. There were some women that I did not expect that didn't get leaked. My biggest, God damn it. So we're gonna have to go out of order. I'm sorry. We'll go back
we
because
were just talking about Seth against Roman, and then all of a sudden you're talking about the surprises in the Rumble.
I know, but this has been bothering me. This has been bothering me, and I have to.
What are we getting? What do we do? Where are we? Yeah, what are we?
Weeks leading up to the Royal Rumble, I kept getting angrier and angrier because the element of surprise and the whole thing.
Fuck you, agreed.
Yeah.
But they could have done something. Like, this was just the most generic. There was nothing to it at all. And what bothered me the most is it was so beyond fucking predictable. Like, as soon as Brock Lesnar got screwed, which we will definitely get into, I said, okay, there's number 30 and there's your winner of the Rumble. Mm-hmm. When I heard the rumor, and I have it on tape from last week, when I heard the rumor that Ronda Rousey was signed, sealed, and delivered, right away I said, well, there's your winner. There's no way Ronda's going to be an in-and-out win. So now you got two former UFC personalities now in both main event spots at WrestleMania. I'm not terribly pissed about that. Brock puts asses in the seats, and so does fucking Ronda. And we'll get to all that in detail. But I still think it's horseshit, especially when I hear there was one script of Riddle.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a game changer for somebody like Riddle.
Yep.
And it shows all the hard work and everything he's been fucking doing. He's been doing it well and right, and they love him, and they're giving him that spot. I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but the fact that it was on paper as a potential possibility for this year and you went with this kind of fucking sucks. To go back to Vince's point from last week, you got guys that are then day in and day out killing themselves. Ronda, I love to death, but let's face it, she left to have a kid. Now she comes back, one fucking match, she's in their main event at WrestleMania.
Yep.
What about Bianca Belair? What about Liv Morgan? What about fucking Naomi? You can make a case for every fucking female on the roster.
Exactly.
So,
100%.
I just had to get that.
Bayley?
Right, Bayley wasn't even there. What the
do we know for sure that she is 100% cleared?
So
I thought she was cleared last WrestleMania.
She was cleared for a while because, from what I've seen, she said that at least on her Twitter, she had put a post saying that she's pretty much ready to go, and this was like 2 months ago.
So what the fuck are we doing?
And then she put another
That's
post.
That's a very good question.
I don't know.
Or what the fuck are we not doing? You didn't have Alexa Bliss. Okay, you want to drag out the story with the fucking shrink? Okay, I'm good with that. But still, just Asuka, you haven't done a fucking thing with for what are we fucking doing with Asuka? Why is Asuka not in there? You're gonna fucking put Summer Rae, Summer fucking Rae, but we're not gonna include Asuka. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what's wrong with the WWE. Shit like this, it makes no fucking sense. And then and I'm gonna jump on even more. And then you got Seth Rollins. You get Seth Rollins, who gets the beating of a fucking lifetime afterwards. And we're going to dial down because I really did enjoy that match. But they fucking beat his ass to the point where you're like, holy shit, are they writing off Rollins? Like it was an ass whooping. And then he no-sold on Raw.
Yeah.
No-sold. Like he danced, he pranced like nothing ever fucking happened. He had a shirt that was like a tuxedo jacket on that was open. He could have had some tape. Just, something as simple as that. It's a little thing, but selling is important. You just got your fucking ass handed to you and you're prancing on out to the ring like that match never fucking happened.
Yep.
Well, because that was yesterday, Steve. I mean, or Saturday. You know what I mean? Like,
well, right, but that's my point. You got somebody.
But it's midnight. He's okay.
See, but that's what's fucking wrong. That's what's fucking wrong. Because you have a top guy. You have your top guy like Roman, who you have beasting out with a fucking chair, fucking destroying Seth. It makes it that much more believable that it's 2 days later and you still have to tape up your ribs, or you still have a little hobble because I just got my fucking ass whooped. You know what I mean? Like, if you're still feeling it 2 days later, that just makes Roman look that much more powerful.
Yeah,
and it's a missed opportunity.
How do we make that into a TikTok? So if they can't make it into a TikTok, they don't give a shit. So They can make Seth dancing a TikTok, and it'll get 1 million views, and they'll go, see, at least it gets 1 million views. But the wrestling, they don't give a shit about that shit.
I get it, but that's what sucks. It's little missed opportunities like that go a long way.
Listen, dude, I have such a question about this match with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Who was supposed to be the bad guy and who was supposed to be the good guy?
It looks like Seth Rollins is officially the face in this.
But so then the good guy came down and antagonized the bad guy by dressing as the group that they used to be in. And the guy who's dressed in the costume was the guy that broke the group up. And then Michael Cole was talking about how Roman Reigns was exercising a demon by beating up Seth in the Shield outfit. And if you notice, it was the same camera angle. Seth was facing the ropes. He hit him, and then he slumped through the ropes. It was the exact same thing from when Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose got hit by Seth Rollins. It's the exact same hits. So are we supposed to cheer that Roman Reigns finally got one over on the guy that broke up the Shield? Or are we supposed to cheer Seth Rollins because he's a big asshole who dresses in stupid clothes? I don't like anybody on this show. They're not likable people.
I have the answer. I have the answer for you. It doesn't make sense. And they don't care that it doesn't make sense. And that's the problem.
In one breath, Michael Cole is going, Seth Rollins is the good guy. And then in the next breath, he's going, Roman Reigns is avenging the breakup of the Shield. Well, which is it, you stupid motherfucker? You've been working here for 30 years.
The truth of the matter is, in that case, it doesn't really fucking matter. And here's why. The truth of the matter is, for me, it doesn't matter who is heel or who is face, because people didn't start cheering Roman until he was heel. People are now starting to cheer Rollins ever since he fucking changed his music so they could sing along with him. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like we've had instances where both are face, both are heel, but it just, in that case, it's just those two with built up frustration from way back in the day, and one has the title and the other one wants it. That's all it is. I think in that respect, we're looking too much into it. I do want to say, though, great opening match.
Up until
we finally got the screw job finish. We knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when. And I got to tell you,
done by himself.
I got to tell you,
16-something days, he can't win a match clean.
I didn't hate it.
Jobber.
I didn't hate it. Did you just call Roman?
Chief is a fraud. He is a fraud. I'll say it. He can't win without 6 other Samoans coming out and beating their bellies and eating chicken. Fuck Roman Reigns. He can't win a match clean without a Jew and 6 Samoans and a bucket of KFC.
He's a heel.
He can't win clean.
He's a heel. He's a heel.
Eric could go out and find 5 Samoan guys and walk up to Roman Reigns, and he would hire him instantly, because it's one Jew and a group of Samoans, and they'd all just stand in front of him like bowling pins.
That was the one part of the pay-per-view I didn't hate, which was that match and that finish. I actually didn't
at all.
It did not bother me.
How are you gonna build up that it's the reckoning of the Shield's breakup and all this other stuff, and Seth always beats Roman, and you build up, and then you give him just
it was vintage Heyman
doo-doo finish.
It was vintage Heyman. Vintage Heyman. We knew it was coming, and better to do it now.
So then technically, air quotes, Seth wins by disqualification. So Roman has still never, despite the fact that he beat the shit out of Seth Rollins, Roman didn't win, and Seth came out on Monday like nothing happened. So what are we doing?
Now we're going different directions.
But I'm saying the whole thing, I don't think the whole conglomeration of it, like, if Seth Rollins needed to not lose because he's facing Bobby Lashley for the world title at WrestleMania, like, I don't understand the chess that they're playing with these guys. This guy can't lose, that guy can't lose. If nobody can lose and lose clean, there's a problem. Daniel Bryan just lost clean to fucking Hangman Page. You can do clean finishes with your top guys. It just doesn't, to get the crowd amped up, to start off with a world title match, to bring out the world title guy who's 500 plus days, and then his former partner, his biggest rival, who he's never beaten, to do all that and hype it all the way up. It's the Royal Rumble. It's one of the big 4. And then just right at the end, I mean, That's like somebody's jerking you off and they slap your balls right at the end of it. Like, what do you do? Like, I don't get it. What are we doing? It needed a clean finish, Steve. The match was good. The match was good. The match was good. I give you that. But we needed a clean finish.
Yeah, but Vince, here's the thing.
We need a clean finish, Steve.
I understand what
Somebody
you're.
needs a clean finish. For Christ's sakes, how many pay-per-views?
Listen, I get it, but we knew the Heyman vintage move was coming, and if Heyman was going to turn, something dirty had to happen. That's just how it goes.
Turn up Brock, but we'll get to that later.
Well, we will get to that later.
Anyway, no, but listen, the match.
Yes, but I do love Heyman with the Tribal Chief too.
Oh, yeah,
I do.
If
he could only get them to, can you imagine if he could only start a stable with those two? Holy fucking Christ! Nobody would ever win. They would have every title. They would have every title. The tag titles. They would have an IC title, US title. They would have each world title.
That'll be next year's Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. It's just going to be Brock and Roman versus the entire fucking roster.
So the match.
I gotta get a soda. I'm sorry, I yelled too much.
No, you go. I loved it. So we're both ranting. So the show opens with a great match of Roman, Seth Rollins. Whether you liked the finish or you didn't, it was still well done. We knew it was coming. And now we can move on the road to WrestleMania. So what did we do next? We had the match that I honestly thought was going to start the show, the Women's Royal Rumble.
Me too. I thought we were starting and ending with a Rumble like we usually.
Well, that's usually what they do. And it's, and this year there was no doubt about the men was going to be the final one. But
oh, yeah, for sure.
So you have the Women's Rumble. Again, here's another problem. You bring back somebody like you bring someone back like Melina. Melina was never the greatest wrestler, but she was good. Better than a lot of them back in that era, right? And more so than that, she was a great manager. She was a great heel manager with Eminem and everything else. I think it's a shame, and again, another lost opportunity that you have somebody like Melina come back for the Rumble. And I know just through hearing things, Melina's been trying to come back in some sort of capacity for a very long time. She picks up gigs where she can, like she goes to Impact. And she shows that she can still go and she can still do her thing. So they finally give her the opportunity. They put her in the number 2 slot. And she lasted, 3 minutes? And Sasha threw her right out and then mocked her. Like, listen, I love Sasha. I love the fact that Sasha was number 1. Again, I was surprised, though. You have someone like Sasha number 1 and gets eliminated before someone like Aaliyah. Sure. Aaliyah, I mean, I didn't understand that at all. There were names that definitely shouldn't have not outlasted somebody like Aaliyah, in my opinion, Melina being one of them. The only old timer, and I hate to say old time, the only 2 legends we can call them, and one of them is questionable. I apologize in advance, but it would be like Michelle McCool and Lita. They went the longest, I think, from that era. Even the Bellas weren't in very long, and of course, the revenge, I knew that was coming, but I just overall it was very lackluster, and it wasn't and then the legends that you brought back, you didn't give them any time at all. So I thought that was I thought Ivory was great coming back as and listen, I've spent time with Ivory. She's a sweetheart. I had breakfast with her. A few of us. She came to our table. She's just an absolute sweetheart, and I got to spend quite a bit of time with her. And so to see her get a chance to come back and do that gimmick that I fucking hated, but I love so much now because I can appreciate it now. Yeah. So I thought it was decent, and it was definitely better than the men's. But then to have it come down to, again, the final 2, I kind of assumed, which was Charlotte and Ronda. I didn't expect Ronda to win it that quickly either. I thought it would go a little bit longer, and now we wait to see who she's going to choose, whether it's going to be Charlotte or Becky, and we'll get into that later. But overall, I think it was okay. It was definitely not one of my more favorite of the women's, but it definitely beat out the men's. Ryan, what do you think? You haven't said. Jump in. What did you think overall of the women's?
You're on mute, bro.
All right. So while Ryan's having some difficulties, we're going to move on. Eddie, what did you think?
So I already said what I said earlier. Going over the good, the bad, the ugly. I really hated the fact that we didn't get to see, like I said, the names that I mentioned. You didn't have a Kairi Sane, a Bailey, a Asuka.
There was nobody from NXT, right?
Nobody.
No,
No one from
was
NXT.
crazy.
Exactly.
Nobody from NXT. Aaliyah in there, and they couldn't throw it anymore.
And she was there for a long time. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was even talks supposedly that maybe even seeing someone like a Paige, which would got a huge pop. If she was,
Oh, can you imagine? That would have been insane.
Yeah. So you think about all the names that I just listed that were not, in the match, and the oh my god factor, right? The wow factor, if you will, if they came out and like the match could have been definitely, like I said, with like just adding just maybe one or two of those names in there would be just that much better. Could you imagine the final four if it was like Paige, Ronda, Charlotte, and then like a Bailey? Holy shit! Like, who's gonna go over? But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
People, like, imagine though us talking about this if they kept the legends a true surprise.
Exactly.
How excited we would have been to see Lita and all these other people.
Right.
Oh, and dude, I am so sorry. And that
Mickey James.
And that's the thing. Yeah. Like that, we should have never
Mickey
known
James,
ahead.
Yeah,
that roof, that she would have gotten a bigger pop than Lita.
She would have got a huge pop.
Which well, that's what I'm saying. I think Lita had the biggest pop, but I think Mickey definitely would have, if nobody knew and they kept it a surprise. That would have been the way to go, because more so than anything, the door that she broke coming down with that title and yelling into the camera that she's the Impact Women's Champion and this and that was fucking great. Yeah. And they used the Hardcore Country, which I thought was awesome. So, it's just one of those things, man, like that ruined it. If we didn't know, we would have opened with Hardcore Country.
Yes, we would have right now. It would have probably been 23 minutes talking about just hardcore.
Yeah, and they don't understand. I still don't think they get that. The part of the Rumble that people like is the surprise.
Yeah,
so, like we don't need to know all 30 competitors.
Like, I get it. You're trying to sell buys and all this shit. There's other ways to do it, but don't take away the element of surprise. Well, they want it's subscription.
Yeah, they want Peacock.
They want Peacock subscriptions.
You gotta buy the cock.
I mean, I got Comcast, and with a Flex box, I pay $0 a month for that shit.
Same here.
So they want their.
You gotta get those subs.
Yeah, I guess they want extra. I don't know. Maybe some other cable companies must not have Peacock come with it.
I don't have cable, so.
Oh, there you go. So you have.
So you don't have the cock, right?
I don't have the Peacock.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a decent Rumble that I think they shot themselves in the foot by announcing the legends
completely,
or just not having that one, like you said it, one big surprise, one big.
Could you imagine what it would have done for the men's Rumble if you didn't announce Mickey James? The anticipation, because you'd be like, oh, right, Mickey James here. Who else is here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm so mad at this part. I'm ready to move on from this women's Rumble match.
All right, so moving on then, we have Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, which I got to tell you, man, I was probably more excited for this match than anything, because this is so long overdue. And I thought the build was great. The fact that we got Brock talking and doing promos was great. The match I thought was what I expected.
Two hosses beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah. What does Big Meat call it?
Big meaty men slapping
Yep.
meat. Yeah, I think.
Um,
I was looking forward to this match, same as you, Steve, because Bobby Lashley has been asking for this match for what feels like forever.
Yeah.
Whether he was in WWE, whether he was in Impact, whether he was in MMA, he wanted it as an MMA fight.
Mhm.
Bobby Lashley has wanted Brock Lesnar for years.
Yep.
And we finally got it. I mean, listen, again, in order to get where they wanted to go, we had to have another screw job finish. But at least, we got the match. It was fun. That's my one.
and
big
it was a
complaint
good
about
match.
WWE.
They did a
It's
good job.
Everything up until like the last 30 seconds of a match, and then the bell rings, is great. But then everything that leads up to the end of the match is not good.
I agree.
I don't know. Again, I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't hate the screw job on Lesnar. Because we all have been talking about the fact that we knew it was coming.
Exactly. It was a matter of time.
Right.
Right
That's the
before
thing.
this happened.
It was within context. We did know it was coming, and with the shenanigans of the first championship match happening, we knew this was coming. I just think that it it's another thing. You have a money match between two guys, and you pull the ripcord on it with a screw job finish. I guess maybe you could run that match again, but there's something about the prestige of the first match, and somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, and then it's just like.
Yeah. Well, you would have if you're gonna do another one. In my opinion, it's got to be like it's got to be like a cage, right? It's got or just an old school cage. It doesn't necessarily have to be Hell in the Cell, but I think that would lock those two in a fucking cage, so there's no outside interference, quote unquote.
What did the Lion's Den?
Yeah, I was gonna say throw him in an MMA cage.
Bring back Ken Shamrock and have him be the referee for a Lion's Den match.
Well, they are locking him inside a
It would be a waste. So it would be a waste of a spot because they will never let it be a true MMA type of fight, and it just that's not.
But
so
you're right. We are getting them in a cage of sorts in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if those two guys were to wreck everybody else, which won't never happen, wreck everybody in the ring, and then they just came down between them one on one, and just
there has to be a one-on-one
Vince finally get that finish, but we'll never get that.
Well,
we're gonna get some kind of stare down in a moment between them. I think. Yeah, we gotta get at least one sequence.
In between.
No, get the stare downs, but I'm talking about the final two. Those.
Yeah, no,
we won't get that.
See, I don't know. Part of me thinks like Brock necessarily doesn't have to win this, and that match with Roman does not have to be title for title. As long as those two are wrestling and the title's on the line, that's all that matters. Agreed. So I don't think he has to necessarily win. So if everyone's thinking, oh, Brock's definitely going to win now because the title's on the line and they're going to do title for title, I don't necessarily see them unifying the belts. So I don't think Brock leaves the Chamber as the winner. And the nice thing in the Chamber is that, he's not going to look weak by losing in a Chamber. You know what I mean? Not that he would ever look weak, but
who's getting the pin on him though?
I'd give it to Riddle.
It's too early.
Without even blinking, I would do that.
Over Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Saying that with much confidence. I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I can see Riddle doing some crazy dive off the top of the fucking thing.
I'm not saying he's the only one, but he gets the 3 count.
Oh, like they do one of those
crazy.
Somebody hits their finisher into another finisher. Yeah, and then finishes with
Riddle,
whatever they call it. I don't know what his finishers are, bro.
So wait, just so I have clarification. So you're sitting here saying that your pick to win the Chamber it's going to be Riddle?
No,
Riddle's going to. Okay,
gets the pin
just over on Brock. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
To be kind of get put over, even if he doesn't. Because for me, my guess right now, from kind of the scuttlebutt I've been seeing online, people have been speculating that Seth walks out with the title, and that we're going to get a complete revisit of that one WrestleMania, except there will be no Money in the Bank run-in. it will just be
A triple threat.
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, because Brock, think about this. If Seth Rollins does win at the Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar technically could just be like, hey, I want to challenge both World Heavyweight Champions because I'm fucking Brock Lesnar. And who are they to say no? They could just make it a triple threat match for both the belts.
And Eric gets his
more
wish
interesting
of
than,
one champion.
Brock and Reigns.
I don't. I unfortunately,
I
and
think
I
that's it.
agree, but I don't see it happening.
I think we're getting a straight up Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match. That's been the plan.
Yep.
I don't know if
I
the
agree.
titles.
Yep.
Honestly, neither guy needs a title for that match to happen. It's a grudge match at this point.
It's a big money match.
All right. This is why I want clean finishes, Steve. Do you understand that we've had, for as long as Roman Reigns has been feuding with Brock Lesnar, we have had 3 different United States presidents. We've been through 3 administrations.
That's crazy.
Do you remember what gas prices were back in when they first go just compare gas prices to back when they first started feuding to now, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, dude, Barack Obama was like in his last year of his last term when they first started feuding, and here we are again. Like, we're still here.
Yeah, but you know what? Now we all love Roman Reigns. The conversation was much different then.
Oh yeah, well, Roman Reigns he has improved. He's grown into himself. Yep. I still think the booking doesn't do him any favors because if you're trying to square him up against Brock Lesnar, it shouldn't look like he's trying to rat his way out of every match with the Usos and Heyman, bailing him out. Like, if you really want to put this guy over as your top guy, he's got to beat Brock Lesnar, like beat him. But again, we can't really beat anybody, so that's the problem.
And Vince, to your point, like Brock, when Brock was a heel with Heyman, how often did Brock need to cheat to win? Almost never.
I mean, Heyman would grab a leg or something, but they would never. It was not like Heyman had to get in the ring or hit anybody with a chair.
It was very sleight of hand.
Very, very rarely. But anyway, Ryan.
And the story is building towards Brock winning.
Yeah, this is the other thing. This is a babyface return for Brock, who's supposed to unseat the champion who hasn't been beaten in 516 days. But then Roman,
logical story.
I assume, right, the logical story is that Brock wins. But the WWE story is that Roman Reigns is their top guy, and he's 15 years younger than Brock Lesnar or whatever it is, and he's going to be around a lot longer, so he's got to win.
Yeah.
So we're getting to the match again, and it's going to be a better match this time because I think both the guys have improved both in promo skills and in the ring. And I mean that for both guys, not just Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar's got charisma now. He never had that before. So that's great. But yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. The story that they're telling should lead to a win at WrestleMania for Brock Lesnar. But I don't think that's coming. I think Roman Reigns has to win, right?
Yeah.
You know what? It's still too early for me to make my official decision on this, but my gut right now is telling me Roman has to lose at Mania.
My gut says he's breaking Bruno Sammartino's record.
Yo, I heard that as a rumor. I definitely heard that as a rumor that Vince wants to have him break Bruno's record.
How long is Bruno's?
7 years.
Yeah.
We're like,
I'm sorry.
We're down payment in. We're like
part of me feels like they have to. If Roman keeps it after Mania, I feel like the only reason they're doing that is to eventually set up a one-off with The Rock. But
but The Rock's
you
not going over
but
Roman either.
No, I think The Rock will put Roman over. And at that point, the next feud he has after that will be when he drops. But then it's got to have
WrestleMania.
So
well, possibly, but the problem is you don't have anybody right now that is believable to take him out.
And that's a shame because they've got a big. Well,
the problem is you have a huge roster. The problem is you have forgotten how to create new superstars.
Yep.
Those breakout guys. And I think you have them in Braun Breaker. And I think you have it with these guys coming in. Gable Stevenson, right? Or something. Yeah. And there's another one.
Parker
the other Samoan's pretty good.
The other Uso in NXT.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah, Solo.
You have, and then you had a bunch that you decided to let go because you're fucking stupid. And when I say that, I talk about Keith Lee, and I talk about The Fiend and Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe. I mean, we can spend an entire show going over that list.
Well, how about Cesaro, a guy that's been there forever?
I don't know what it is that Vince just does not like about Cesaro, but he's been so fucking loyal. He's a beast in the ring. He's so fucking strong and so good and does everything you fucking tell him to do, and you give him nothing.
He has the Dolph Ziggler effect, is what I like to call it.
Listen, Dolph Ziggler's teasing going in NXT, and it'll be the best thing he ever does.
Yeah. And that's what I see, because how many times have Cesaro actually really get close and then just get back from main event status right back down to mid card, or it just happens. This happened, at least to my knowledge, at least 3 times, I feel like.
So moving on in the show, the next match we had was Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix, which I think it was a good match. I think it went too long. I didn't think it had to be as long as it did. And I'm watching the clock saying, oh my God, we still have the men's rumble. And look how fucking late it is. I mean, this fucking thing went to like 12:30.
Edge wasn't even in the men's rumble, correct?
No, he was just in the tag match with Beth.
Another one. It's another
the waste of time match.
Another one.
There's a couple waste of time matches. This fucking Doudrop versus Becky Lynch. Throw that shit.
Let me tell you, that match did nothing for me. That was another match that went way too long. I think both those matches should have been half the time. I did enjoy Edge and Beth Phoenix. It was cool to see them together and all that. But at the end of the day, I think each of them could have gone at least 6-7 minutes less than they did, so that we could have started this fucking men's rumble, which obviously was the main event of the evening. And anybody sitting there after watching the screw job, if you didn't think in your head that Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be in the Rumble or even number 30,
as soon as it
and when I literally sat here and I said, "Well, there's your winner. I'm done."
I actually picked Lesnar in my pick'em during the day. I saw that early during the day.
You called it right.
Yeah, I just knew in my head because I'm like, I believe that Lashley was going to win. I really, in my heart of hearts, believe that. So that's why I was just like, I'm picking Lesnar.
See, I'm happy for Lashley. I am. But I hope it's not another month run and then he fucking gives it up again. Like, give him a fucking
Chambers in friggin' 18 days, bro.
I know. Well, listen, maybe he'll keep it. Maybe that'll surprise us
too. Because the other rumor was that it was going to be Seth Bobby, and that'd be a good match. WrestleMania match, but it's going to be a good match.
And let me just tell you something: Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens together are fucking hilarious. They are so fucking good together. We'll get more to that on Raw, but I just had to throw that out. Kevin Owens is just solid. Everything we do. So
that rumor I shared with the group.
What rumor?
With Shane.
Oh, with Shane winning.
So apparently, a lot of people backstage are pissed because he's the one that booked this fucking Rumble, and then he booked himself so far late into the show, and then one of the last, I think it was Final 5 or whatever.
Shane and Bad Bunny, 2 people who have a 0% chance of winning the Rumble. Were
Bad Bunny, but you know what though? Bad Bunny once again impressed the fucking hell out of me, man. He did such a great job in that Rumble.
That was the biggest surprise entrant, and that's again just as me because the guy is legit selling out tours left and right.
Yeah.
And I
For sure.
I wore my Rumble shirt that day, having the Bad Bunny representing. I sent it in the chat, and I was like, I'd be dope. I said, this is my pick to win the Rumble. If you guys saw that, and I wigged out because I was just like, how is this dude even here? Because I knew he just like legit was out selling all these tours. I didn't think he would be in the Rumble. So to hear that music and see him enter and then do the Bunny Destroyer and everything that he actually did and actually lasted as long as he lasted was kind of impressive. Definitely enjoyed it.
I didn't hate Bad Bunny being in the Final Four. Shane was a little bit annoying.
I mean, listen, Shane was a good surprise, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
and now
Shane's like a number 12.
Right, exactly, because he has the stamina, and then at the end of the day, they're obviously doing this because they're going to set him up for something for Mania, because that's his thing now. He comes back and does Mania. But again, overall, the men's Rumble, like there was no like, there was no like AJ Styles moment. You know what I mean? Like there was no free agent that you damn near shit because they really kept it a surprise, and it was just whatever. And then Brock's music hit, and you said, okay, well there it is, and and then Brock wins. Okay, great. But
not to cut you off, Steve. You said earlier there was no AJ Styles moment, and I legit felt that. I thought we were gonna get it. If you saw, he started off number 1. He came out. He did Shawn Michaels pose in the beginning.
Hold on.
I'm like,
don't misunderstand. As much as I love AJ Styles, what I meant by that was that.
I'm just saying.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is, I was referring to more about the fact that the year that I'm sitting there watching the Rumble and I'm hearing the countdown, and all of a sudden I hear music that I've never heard, and I see the Tron, I see Phenomenal. I fucking shit myself, and I jump up and I'm screaming, like, holy shit, AJ finally made it to WWE.
Yeah.
That's the moment that was missing. I didn't get it.
No. Would have loved to hear Smoke and Mirrors.
You know what? Cody was the only Moxley. There was no fucking.
No, there was no chance Moxley was going to be in it. But
I feel like Cody
Cody
could have done it. I think that would have been funny. The whole thing is kind of weird.
What would have been great is if he came down with the paper bag, a callback, and then pulls it off.
Or somebody said that he should go out as Stardust and just never talk about it. He goes out as Stardust,
that would be hilarious.
Gets eliminated, and just never talk. What do you mean? I wasn't there. Just never talks about it again.
That would be great.
Because technically it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But
so, anything else about the Rumble? And then of course we should just acknowledge the fact that we're all aware that the WrestleMania sign got caught on fire with the pyro, and they had to evacuate the section. And apparently those were $500 seats, and there was a kid on TikTok live, and he was pissed off, like, my fucking seats, I'm getting kicked out now, and it's like Brock's music's playing in the background. He's like, this is bullshit. But it was legit on fire, which, I mean, it is what it is. At least everybody was okay, but they were afraid that thing was going to come down.
They're probably going to get comp WrestleMania tickets because there's no way they're going to sell that out 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
I hate that.
Otherwise,
we
it won't be
get into that.
stupendous.
Anything else about the Rumble that anyone wants to address? Because we've got about 15 minutes left.
The one thing I do kind of want to call out is our rated RKO or whatever. No. What do they call
it? RK Bro.
They did this. It was great. There was like a almost like a whisper in the wind RKO. Riddle jumped off of somebody's back and hit like Otis's back and hit a cutter. Like
that was
sick.
He jumped off of Otis and hit the cutter on Drew. That was sick.
Yeah, that whole sequence, because Randy came out hot because it was his hometown and they loved him, and of course Riddle's super over. Yeah. So those guys went in and they kind of cleaned house a little bit, and I liked that. And it would have been. I don't think Randy Orton should have won, but Matt Riddle should have fucking won that Rumble.
Yeah.
My other pick was almost it because he lasted like 40-something minutes. Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. My logic was that somehow Vince McMahon was going to pull his Vince McMahon magic and protect this kid and somehow get him
that would have
win in the Rumble. Like I thought he was going to outlast, Yeah, I thought something was going to happen with Vince because he likes the kid so much. And then, anyway,
I went with my heart. I picked Big E.
I went with Big E too. I went with my heart also.
We didn't talk about poor Kofi Kingston.
Oh,
Yeah.
that spot.
Just
If he would have landed,
It's a
it, though, that
shame.
would have been sick.
it's like the screenshot of that just encapsulates the entire pay-per-view, what they were trying to accomplish
Yeah.
and what ultimately
Mhm.
happened.
I felt
They
so
took-
bad for him.
And then like it happened quick. Like we could see it,
Yeah.
but it happened. But if they didn't show the replay and he just
Nah,
hung there,
you saw it. People would have right away. We would have been on here talking about how they're trying to insult our intelligence.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would've-
exactly.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I
calling
would have
it a
given
yeah.
Kofi a pass.
I would like here's the thing. I get it. I kind of just want rather than him waiting, he should have just done whatever he was supposed to do
Right.
next. Because
Yeah.
up now we just saw him hang on like a koala. We didn't get to see the spot that he was supposed to do with somebody. And there was a whole planned. They planned for him to hit that spot. There was a whole chunk of match that Kofi was supposed to come in and do like a big comeback once he got back in the ring.
And
Right.
stuff with Big E.
Right, yeah. So Big E was in the ring. Yeah, we had a bunch of missed opportunities. But out of how many times he's 14, 15 of them, and he's only missed one, I can't
Yeah.
fault the guy.
Yeah, that's still
Yeah.
a good percentage.
That's yeah.
I want to put over Sasha Banks' Sailor Moon costume.
Oh,
Sailor Moon cosplay.
Wow.
oh,
I'm a married man, so I'm not gonna touch too much on that.
I appreciated it.
oh, yeah. Makazi is so good at making. For those of you who don't know, our New England's own Kid Makazi, former wrestler, now just known as Makazi. He's the head seamster for the WWE right now. And he has said in interviews, nobody is going to look better than my wife. So he always makes her costumes like that much better than everyone
You
else.
could tell
That's
the
a
effort was
smart
there.
man. That's a smart
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like
But
that
yeah.
was I look. There's typical wrestler cosplay, and then there's that.
Right. And Steve, I assume that's Tara, right? That's
Yeah.
gotta be Tara.
Yeah, it's got to be Tara.
Yeah.
So,
Have a good weekend.
yeah, I don't want to really just
Right. There was, she had a personal, something tragic
Try
in
to,
her
at
personal
least.
life, and
but yeah, we're there
Yeah.
for you and our sincerest, and
Yeah.
we're hoping all
course.
the best to you and the family. So,
Yeah. As
Yeah.
far as we're concerned, you're part of the Tag New Day family.
that's right. You're
And
part of
we're
our
gonna be
family.
there
If
for
you. You know to reach out to us if you need anything. So, and thanks for tuning in and sticking around with all of our shenanigans and yelling this week.
All of the rants, all the shenanigans.
I
Gotta
know.
love it. Gotta love it.
So-
Sorry, I was
listen,
laughing at my
we're-
dog. He got on the beanbag chair and was snorting.
Oh,
So we're getting right to the top of the hour here. We got about 12 minutes left. I want to jump a little bit into Raw because I actually thought this was a pretty decent Raw all the way through. I didn't say it was great,
No spoilers.
but I thought it was decent. So I want to jump into Raw a little bit and see, what you guys thought. But I also want to throw this on the table too, because I did also have the pleasure of seeing one of the most incredible spots I've ever seen in the world of professional wrestling. And I've been watching for a
think I know
very
what you're
long
talking about.
time. But if you haven't seen Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes in the
Oh my
ladder
God.
match for the TNT title, there was a leaping RKO from the top of the ladder to Cody from Sammy that was so beyond spot on. It couldn't have been any more fucking perfect. It was beautiful to watch. It was the fucking spot of the night, and they had some other spots that were
I was
fucking
gonna say that,
amazing.
there was like 5 or
But-
6 of them. That
But
could
to
be top
me, that spot was, oh my fucking word, one of the most amazing things I've seen. So I want to get thoughts on that. But we also should talk a little bit about Raw too, because a lot now is being set up for the Elimination Chamber and Raw. So who wants to go next?
You mentioned like this spot, and for some reason I thought you were talking about Raw last night, and there was a spot when Ray came off the top, and AJ caught him into the
Yes. Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
That was a great match all the way around. But yeah, that was a great spot too. But this was
And
on
it looks
another
like,
level.
Lashley looks like Lashley stole Seth Rollins' wardrobe for the night.
Steve? What did you think of the what was essentially a WWE Shop.com commercial for the Lily doll?
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it was fucking genius.
That's like, no, this isn't the real one. This is a replica, which you can buy at WWEshop.com. Free shipping if you enter the code. Alexa is fucking crazy. Like, you know.
Yeah, but dude, that's just fucking. That is so classic WWE. DX used to do it all the time. The fucking, you know.
That was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I love the DX
fucking language.
They really went in and did a whole segment just to say, this isn't the real doll. And if you want one, go to our shop and buy one of these fucking.
I mean, look, essentially,
It's so funny.
Alexa Bliss took over as the Fiend from Bray Wyatt.
Yes, yeah. Right. So, by the way, we got a Kat who couldn't make it today. Autumn begged one of her daughters, Autumn.
For one of the dolls.
for a really doll. Kat, and I was going to say this earlier, but I didn't know you were listening. I think if you ever shared the video of Autumn crying because Bad Bunny lost the Royal Rumble, it would literally get like 1 million views on TikTok or something. But it's also the meanest thing you could ever do to a 13-year-old girl. So I don't do it. But in my head,
I say do it.
Do it. Like,
If you do it, let me know because I'll share it.
Because in my head, I see you sharing that video, and it gets like 1 million likes.
Well, I mean, look.
It's on YouTube. Oh, no.
How many views did that one person that said "Leave Britney alone"? Remember that?
Leave Britney alone.
Hey, worst case scenario, she goes to Mania. You get a Mania trip out of it.
That's true. Oh wow, or a Bad Bunny concert, which might be better. Now that the video is on YouTube, we're gonna have to share it. That's just the thing now.
Yes.
All right. Wow. Okay. Cool. So now that we know. But anyway, Raw is 3 hours long. That's about this.
All right.
Like,
I mean, listen, we already know
What do you want
outside
to
of the
know?
length, but I thought Raw overall.
They set up the chamber. Right. They have
They
to
did
listen,
set up the
they're 2
chamber.
weeks away. They had to
You-
set that.
You had a great open to the show.
I know.
You know, how the fuck did we open it? I'm trying to remember now. It was so long ago already. How'd the show open? It was a promo segment,
Yeah,
right? It was Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Lashley came out with MVP. They were cutting a promo, and then Brock came out. And so that was great. And then it just kind of flowed from there. I don't know. There were some. First of all, I want to say this too. Chad Gable has finally hit a home run.
Shush.
The gimmick is working. He's fucking hilarious. The shush and the GPA, like the whole thing, Otis, whatever. But Gable, especially because he's so good in the ring, he's so much turning into what Kurt Angle was. Because Kurt Angle got goofy at times and did, the ukulele and, Jimmy Jack Horn and like all that shit. Like the milk, like this is working. And I'm happy for him because he was handed a pile of shit and he turned it into something. And he's now an entertaining segment every week now. The whole thing with with Riddle was great. The screw job at the end of it was great. They had a Kevin Owens show with Rollins, which was a great segment. Like they had great segments, and the matches that they had were pretty decent too. Lita, Becky Lynch was a great segment.
And that match is happening at
Elimination Chamber.
Okay, in Saudi Arabia. So they're going to be dressed up in their body tight, their skin suits, whatever they are, instead of their actual wrestling gear. We go out in scuba suits.
She won't. Lita won't have her thong hanging out.
I noticed she did it, but she did it with like a wrestling singlet this time in the Rumble. I was like, that's not a thong, that's a wrestling singlet.
You know what? I get the effort was there.
I appreciate that she went out and she didn't have to even do that. She could just dress like however she wanted to dress. Did Austin Theory's in the
he's in the chamber.
Yeah.
Shit, good for him. Apparently somebody sees something. Like
he's very good. He is very
good. Yeah.
But is he?
I don't
Let's
see
put this
him
guy
that
from
good.
NXT in the Elimination Chamber good?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I'm almost waiting. Like, I'm almost thinking like it's just happening way too fast for this kid because the potential's there and he's going to be great. But
Yeah.
I think they're putting too much on him way too fast, in my opinion. But we'll
Yeah,
see. Right
I
now, he's
agree.
doing a great job.
The
Yeah, no, he's
potential
been
and the
able to handle
talent
it.
is definitely there, but I feel like they present him too goofy. That's just my opinion. He comes off as way too goofy.
Yeah, but everybody's way too goofy. Like
Well,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
all right.
Chad.
Yeah, but I
Gable's
don't
an Olympian.
necessarily think that's an issue too, because goofy
Right,
and
fair enough.
cocky and arrogant is a heelish kind of thing, and at the end of the day, he's backing it up in the ring. You know, even if some of the wins are questionable, he's still getting the W's. You know, and the fact that he's having all this on-air time with Vince McMahon
That's the
tells you
weirdest
that
thing, right?
that Vince sees something in this kid. Forget
Definitely is.
anyone else. Vince sees something in this kid. So, you know, it's kind of like a Drew McIntyre situation. But let's see how this one ends up. Is he going to be able to do it faster than Drew did, or is he going to get knocked down and have to go elsewhere to AEW, for example, and then come back and be this huge? Who the hell knows? Time will tell. But right now, I think the kid is doing a phenomenal job. I'm excited. He's great in the ring. His gimmick for me is working. So we'll see. But I am entertained with this kid. I see a lot of potential in him.
Yeah, I think so too. But that's the fine line we're walking right now. Is this like?
I don't see him winning the
overexposing-
chamber. I will
I don't
say
think
that.
he's winning. No,
He's
I don't
gonna
think he's
put
for
winning.
sure.
on a good performance, though, definitely.
Yes. He
He
may
could
be
be
one
like
of the final three.
He could be a Mustafa Ali who puts on, one of those big perform. Speaking of poor guy, okay, hashtag free Ali, man. Ali has been requesting his release. They called him the balls. And I know we only have 2 minutes left. The balls they have to call the guy after he requested his release and say, hey, do you want to be in the Royal Rumble?
Well, and not only that, kudos to Nia Jax, kudos to the Iconics,
Yes.
because they were all asked to come back and they said no. So you know what? You just fired me and now you want to bring me back. Why? Because you need a
one
filler
night.
spot for 20 seconds in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, Lita's really like the only one that's actually hanging around, after
Yeah.
the Rumble. It looks like
Jillian Hall and a couple other ladies were backstage at the Rumble in case somebody got COVID.
Yep.
So they at least had some backups, but it was weird. It's weird to think Jillian Hall is sitting there backstage. I hope they paid her.
Oh wow!
Sit there. At least you got a free pay-per-view and some catering. You just go home with no money.
Paid her some cryptocurrency.
But Ali posted on Twitter. No, I don't want to be in the Rumble. I want my release. And he also has blocked WWE on Fox's Twitter account. Because somebody tweeted to the Fox account about free Ali, and they blocked this random person, and they sent Ali the screenshot, and he's like, here, let me help you out. And he just blocks them. So the whole thing is really strange. They're holding on to this guy. Even Amanda Huber, Luke Harper, Brody Lee's wife, is trying to get this trending and trying to get Ali released because she knows what it's like to have years of someone's career held up with a contract that they're never going to use. He's making good. Yes, Luke Harper was making good money in WWE, but he wanted to go elsewhere and be Brody Lee again. Ali wants to leave WWE because they wanted him to be some kind of probably racist terrorist character. What are we and they want to keep him. They release 100 and something other people, 200 people since 2020 they release, and they won't release Ali, who's asking for it.
Jeff Hardy's another one we forgot to mention.
Jeff
Yo,
Hardy.
so the results of the drug test come back. The drug test results come back negative.
I told you motherfuckers he wasn't
that
high.
he was clean. That he took a bump in the match. He was a little out of sorts, so he removed himself from the situation. But they insisted that he get rehab. So he said, fuck you. And not only did they offer him a return to the Rumble, they offered him a Hall of Fame induction this year in 22. And he said, fuck you.
Imagine that, though.
And on that note, And on that note, Vince, it's top of the hour, my man. Take us home.
He should have said only if it's me and my brother. And he
Yeah. No, that's what I was thinking.
and Matt Hardy comes out, and you have to announce him as Matt Hardy, AEW superstar. Anyway, I think Steve had to go because it's top of the hour, and he has to go take care of dinner with the family. I don't have any such obligations. I have 2 cats, and they eat all the goddamn time, so I don't have anything to rush to.
I had to go and take Henry out.
You have to go walk the dog because
he's on a lead.
Dogs are probably better than the cats in that respect because at least you can put them outside and they shit out there. I have to clean the shit up it's a process. Anyway, enough about how little I have to do in my life aside from scooping up cat shit. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is another edition of the War Report brought to you by Tag Me a Date. Follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date. It's all one word, no spaces. Tag Me a Date. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope. Shit, I don't know, all of them. Just follow us on there at Tag Me a Date. If you go to youtube.com, it's Tag Me a Date. You put it in the search bar. You can subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when we go live or when we upload a new video. If you watch on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/War Report. And again, War Report is all one word. And then if you want to listen to the podcast rather than watch the live streams or go back and watch the YouTube archive, then you can listen on your favorite podcast app, such as Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, or the Apple Podcasts. You just have to search for either the War Report or Tag Me a Date. The War Report or Tag Me a Date. When you look for the War Report, there are 2 War Report podcasts to talk about pro wrestling. Just when you look at the graphic, when you go to subscribe, make sure that the graphic in the description say Tag Me a Date. It says Steve or Vince or it says one of our names. Just make sure you're subscribed to the War Report, and you can get your episode audio only within the hour that we go off air. So that's about it for this week. You follow our socials, you listen to the show, you subscribe to the podcast. Sounds pretty easy. And if you have friends that have not yet listened to our wonderful podcast and you want to have them listen to our rants about the Royal Rumble, share this episode, share our previous episodes, let your friends know about the show. You can jump in the comments like Tara did and like Kat did. We're always looking for people to comment on the live streams. Send us your questions or your comments about what we're talking about, and we'll bring you up on the big screen here. So just share, let people know. We want a nice conversation going on in the chat while we're doing this stream. So please, the more the merrier. Share the show with your friends, and we'll be back next week, 6 p.m. on Eastern Time for another live stream, another live edition of the War Report podcast brought to you by Tag Me a Date. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you.